Teenage boy stabbed girl 15 to death with a machete after argument that began with him trying to give her flowers on a bus to a $16,000 a year private school in Croydon. And that's the sad breaking news that has just currently come out. The schoolgirl who was fatally stabbed on the bus rejected flowers from a boy she broke up with the previous day, moments before he attacked her with a sword-like knife, it has been claimed, and that was posted on the Mirror. This is just some stories that come out on Twitter. The boy gave her flowers, but she didn't want anything to do with him. Then he got violent and stabbed her. My friend said the knife was huge. Another woman at the scene told how her friend was aboard the bus and witnessed the girl arguing with the boy prior to the stabbing. The woman, who did not want to be named, said the boy was with the group and he gave her flowers. She didn't want it. They were arguing, the whole bus could hear. Then it spilled off the bus apparently. It's so sad, but I can't say I'm shocked. We've had stabbings in Croydon before. This is what happens now. This is
the ambulance or the paramedics are working on it. He or she, whatever.
Probably a he, be real.
Bro, what happened?
Stop.
Oh, sorry?
Stop.
So this clip was taken from Instagram. It was posted by Seduction Prince. Make sure you go check out that page. Always post up-to-date news. And it just shows live footage from after the incident where the young girl got stabbed.
Somebody got stabbed?
Yeah.
Just now?
Look at school.
Just now? A schoolgirl?
Yeah, schoolboy stabbed.
Can we keep moving, please?
You can hear my man's reaction. He's like, a schoolgirl. He was exactly how I would be. And you can hear the auntie. She sounds like a Caribbean, West Indian woman. And you can hear the distress in her voice. She's like, yeah, by a schoolboy.
You're not waiting for a bus, obviously, the road's closed, okay?
What are we doing here?
Pardon?
Why we come?
Because I've been told to move people who are obviously waiting for a bus. There's no buses, okay?
No, me not wait.
Right, 15-year-old girl stabbed to death on a bus on her way to school. Something to do with flowers. The brother wants to give her flowers and that. But I'm like, we've had a lot of energy recently for the community and reacting to things. So it's going to be interesting now to see what strategies we can come up with. Because obviously the regular turning up and standing outside ain't going to work. So what are we...
Yeah, shout out to Jedi, you know, because he's definitely always someone that talks up the things as they say. And he's speaking about, basically saying the community leaders, we're going to need you to call this out, condemn this. We're going to need you outside. Is it the right time to be saying it? That can be left up to be seen, but he's saying it.
We actually going to do about this?
You know what I mean? Bless that little girl. She's only 15 years old. I'd be wounded if my daughter was like, someone was trying to give my daughter roses, however she knew, and she didn't want the roses. She was like, nah, it's done, whatever. A man pull out a knife and cut her, stab her in her neck. Listen, I'm not gonna lie, bro. I'll be in pieces. So God bless that family of that daughter. God bless, you know what I mean? Everyone that had to witness. It's a madness. This situation is a situation I don't even think them man, they can go there and stand up in Croydon all week. They can stand up all month. I don't think it will change anything. Stand up there with speakerphone, everything. I don't think it's gonna change anything. Because these youths' mindset, they've been brainwashed to behave a certain way, to think, you know what I mean? They've got to do certain things and act a certain way to be cool. And you know, that kind of madman, lunatic behavior, there in this society that we're living, there's a place for being a madman. There's ratings you can get from being a madman, a psychopath. That's yeah. Now he's a serious brother, you know. Yeah, man. Yeah, did you hear what happened? Chris poked up that girl. She took the piss. Yeah, he poked her up. What? He's even poking girls. Yeah, imagine she didn't die. There's you know what I mean? There's youths out there that will give ratings to people that do weird stuff like that. And it's today's climate that we're living in. It's fuck you like that. You get me? Man, like youths have been brainwashed. Everyone's being brainwashed. So it's gonna take more than marching. It's gonna take more than marching. It's gonna take the same brainwashing. It's like you have to reverse brainwash them. So if they're listening to music and it's the music, you have to change the The DJs have to stop it.
So that was My Nature Music, aka Minnie. He's a comedian, he's a host, he's a rapper, you know, he's a content creator, and he's someone that definitely talks up the things, and he puts himself, I can't lie, recently he definitely put himself out there, and you know, some of the things he's been saying is criticizing or asking the effectiveness of these, you know, as he calls them, roadman community leaders. He actually was the one that did the live with Vic Santoro and with Mega and a few other people, and essentially he's probably speaking about Respect and the Forever Family and what they do, because he seems, you know, his thing is what's going to happen if everyone stands up. And he's right, you know, he has a daughter, he has a wife, he has a family, and I always take on board when men that have that speak, because we need to listen to them. But at the same time, he's right, he has got a point. But let's not take away the work that Respect and them not do, and let's see what they're doing.
And say, look, we're not playing this no more.
Yeah, Street Fathers dead. Yeah, I can't really talk on this one because enough people are going to talk online and they don't care about it in the next 2 weeks. Yeah, every day we do the work to prevent this from happening.
So this is Respect, Forever Family, Street Fathers. They're outside the Whitgift Centre. They're on site. Look, I don't know. Look, everybody wants to help. Everybody has a part to play. But one of the things about black people, what I find within the community, is that we're so disenfranchised and we just beef each other. Everybody wants to be that guy. But, I mean, not everyone's going to be that guy. And it's okay if you're not that guy. It's fine. Everyone has a part to play, and we shouldn't start discrediting other people's parts. That's all I'm saying. Let's go. Respect.
Every day, yeah? And we don't hear all these people talking. Every day. No days off. Yeah, Street Fathers dead. Forever Family dead. Yeah? This ain't just because of death. So, people tagging me in this like it's a one-off thing. If you're not supporting the family directly, if you're not out here to support the family directly, yeah, and you're not supporting organizations and movements that prevent things like this from happening ever again, yeah, putting a protection on our daughters, don't touch our daughters, unless the man them are stepping outside to put that statement to the youths, I don't want to hear nothing, yeah.
Our officers were on scene within 2 minutes.
Is on the phone. She's literally just talking me through what she saw this morning. I can show you a video of what she showed.
That would be great afterwards. What's she telling you on the phone?
Okay, she just told me that 2 little kids, it was in a plaid skirt. Do you know what plaid is? Okay, just making sure. But she didn't know, a plaid skirt with green on it. I'm assuming they went to Thomas More. They were arguing. She said first they were talking, right? I thought they were talking, yeah. They were talking, normal conversation, discussing like, she broke up with him yesterday. Apparently he bought her flowers this morning, and she wasn't having it. She said she don't want to be with him no more. Yeah, she shouted out, I don't want to be with you no more. After she shouted that out, he got really violent. He turned around and stabbed her. She said that the knife went straight through. She saw when the police came. When the police came, she said.
So guys, that's an eyewitness account. She's clearly a young schoolgirl, and she's just telling what she saw and what she heard. And guys, it's a tragic tale of young love. I mean, he's a 17-year-old boy and she's 15-year-old, and she broke up with him, and he took it badly, and he bought her flowers and she rejected the flowers, and he just reacted and retaliated, and he stabbed her. This is so sad. It is honestly so sad.
I wanted to come down to the murder scene where the 15-year-old schoolgirl lost her life this morning. She was stabbed in public by a teenage boy. I live in the area.
So guys, this is Anton Speaker. He's an ITV news reporter, broadcaster, writer and activist, and he's someone that is quite close, you know. Obviously he's a black man, and he does a lot of things within the community, and he was also someone that was quite prevalent covering the whole Peckham incident where the woman got strangled by the shopkeeper. So he's actually gone down there. So guys, let's just look at some of the footage he's provided, and also some of the coverage and his thoughts and notions on the teenage girl stabbed to death and what needs to be done.
I thought I'd come down despite it being my day off from the news. You can see here the Croydon zone by the police. I can't really zoom in any further, but where the police are just there, there's flowers that have been laid in front of me right now. It's a forensic officer This all happened in front of Whitgift Centre here in Croydon, and throughout the day I've seen people just coming down to pay their respects, and the media's there as well. It's a big story. It's very rare you actually hear stories of teenage girls being stabbed to death. It's usually boys versus boys, essentially, but this is an incident that a lot of people will be talking to. A lot of people are afraid for their own children, and rightly so. I do want to put into context, from what I've been told by community workers in the area, there hasn't been a teenager that's been stabbed to death in Croydon for 22 months, which is testimony to the work of social workers, schools, teachers, parents, community groups and the police. But that doesn't mean there hasn't been stabbings in Croydon. There's been a lot of stabbings. It's just young people have survived and other people have survived. So that's why I think every parent of a child, especially a teenage boy, needs to speak to them today, right now, and to ask them what their thoughts are of what's happened today. 2, what their reaction is. 3, are they carrying anything? 4, are their friends carrying anything? 5, if they were, what would they do? Who would they speak to? 6, how do they react to any kind of altercation, whether it's with another boy, whether it's with a girl? Teach them how they need to respond, how they need to handle their aggression, and how they need to be acting in public and at home. That's not to blame parents, as people say. It's accountability, and I want to explain that briefly. There's a big difference between accountability and blame. Accountability is you taking responsibility for something, which is your children. Blame is blaming you for issues beyond your control. So I know some people mention youth centres, I know some people mention the lack of funding for mentors, I know some people mention that parents, especially single parents, have to work really hard to just put food on the table, which means they haven't always got the time to spend with their children. However, there is some time, so how do you manage that time? And I think that's the discussion we have to have. And as a community, what do we need to do? I think every area has issues. It's not just a London issue. From Leeds to Liverpool to Glasgow, across the country, there's issues specifically with young boys committing crime, and young boys that then grow up to be men, and those men then become perpetrators of domestic violence or violence against other men. So for us to end this seemingly never-ending cycle, it very much needs a conversation that starts a lot younger than some of you are willing to have it, and a conversation that has to start today, right now, and continue. It's not just going to be one statement, one video, one post, one report. It's a collective effort of every aspect of society, from people at home, to teachers, to police, to media, to everyone that has some kind of influence over the next generation and the current generation. I always think any society where children are killing children is doomed to fail. That's a very extreme statement, but if you're allowing children to kill children without a strong enough reaction, then there's not enough care in that community or that society. Now, I know specifically in Croydon there are many people that protest all the time, so I know this is an issue of people not caring, but if you're a parent struggling to find out how to speak to your child or how to speak to your boy, there's lots of different groups that will teach you, help you and support you. So there's Maine's World, there's Mentivity, there's just, that's off the top of my head, there's lots of people you can reach out to, there's lots of church groups, there's Anthony King, Croydon, there's lots of people who you can reach out to. I don't know every single area in the country, but please use Google and help yourselves. Like I said, accountability is knowing an issue and then trying to find a solution. Even if you have very limited time, at least try and find out where you can get help for you and your child. So yeah, I wanted to make this video.
So, you know, obviously a story like this is going to provoke a lot of emotion on social media. So this came from Fashion Concept. I simply posted, RIP to the young lady, may her soul rest in peace. But I want to know who raised this boy. Can someone find that out for me? And, you know, let's just open up the comments a little bit. What does the first person say? Glitch. What are you going to do? Laughing out loud. Just go find the young girl's parents and send them your love. And someone said, same thing I wanted to know, please. So I said, And the person says how someone raises their child and how the child decides to carry themselves as they get older isn't always the parent's fault. This is just the world we live in. Guarantee he just wanted to look cool in front of his friends and felt humiliated and probably didn't mean to kill her. May she rest. This you is tapped. Didn't mean to. So I said he isn't older. He's a child, so he's still under the responsibility of his parents. And also, you don't accidentally kill someone, especially not your girlfriend. He knew what he was doing when he left his house that morning with a knife. Of course you do. And then someone said he probably learned that from English lit Shakespeare. I can't blame his family. That's someone doing some banter. But yes, you can. So then they say to me, most people leave the house with a knife and manage to go home without killing. First of all, most people don't leave the home with a knife. But anyway, managed without killing someone from... He left the house and is old enough to be out alone. What can his parents do? It's not easy. No one raises a murderer. Use your head, the fuck. So I then say, quite the contrary. Actually, raising a murderer is more often than not usually linked to upbringing or lack of it and problems within the home. And then someone chimes in and she says, wow, did you just make an excuse for this waste of space? Just goes to show how single you should say. And someone comes up with, you only have energy for Gallon. Get out of here, man. You're trying to derail the conversation. But shout out to King from Just Pearly Things show. He says, why is a 15-year-old girl having a boyfriend in the first place? And I get it, and I get it, and I get it. Why is a 15-year-old girl actually dating? She shouldn't be focused on school. But that's not what we should be focused. We should focus on the fact that a boy has killed his girlfriend.
Flirt with some girl on a bus who was 15 and she was uninterested in his advances and he fucking stabbed her to death. That is not masculinity. That is the opposite of masculinity. And we are listening to these fucking clowns talking about how men need to act out their emotions. Oh, someone was stabbed to death because some fucking idiot couldn't control himself. This is Andrew Tate's fault. It infuriates me. If young men listen to Andrew Tristan Tate, none of this shit would happen.
Well, she just started year 11.
So this is Bobby Kasanga from Big Ego Media, and he's just sharing his emotion and his feelings on the story of the 15-year-old girl that was stabbed. And yeah, and the reason why it resonates deeply with him is because he has a 15-year-old daughter. So just listen to his story and his experience and what especially when it comes to dating as a father.
And I've always been that sort of father. It's like, you know what? If there's any kind of boy interest in that, talk to me. I'm cool. Like I know how it is when you're that age kind of thing, right? And I know this year she messaged me and she called me and said, oh, there's a boy who asked her to be her Valentine's. I was like, what does that even mean? Do you know what that means to be? She's like, I don't know. But I said, you know what? Let me talk to this boy. Let me see where his head at. Right? I spoke to the boy. I was like, not to G-check him. They said, yo, what's your interest in my daughter? Why do you want to take her out for? He's like, I don't know. I said, what do you mean you don't know? He's like, oh, because I like her. I'm like, all right, cool. So I let him take her out on a date and that. And we had the location on the phone. Gave her a couple of hours and that. Came back. But anyway, with this boy, I don't know if it's an app, they're still kind of friends, right? But like seeing what kind of happened today makes you kind of question, even if I done the right thing, although the whole approach is great, right? In terms of like, let me speak to the boy, but imagine now to the point that where he became obsessed that if my daughter had said, nah, I don't like her, I don't see how he would reacted. I don't know. It's hard to take as a father of a 15-year-old girl. And I don't want to be the overly strict father who said, no, you can't have any male friends, you can't have a boyfriend kind of thing, right? Because we're not from the same generations of what our parents were from, that. So I always openly talk to my daughter. I said, talk to me about anything, whether it be pregnancy, STIs, sex, religion, faith, school, whatever it is. I'm always open with my daughter. So like, feel free, don't ever feel, because once they fear to tell you anything, right? That's when things can happen kind of thing, right? But it just makes you question, because although you can put all the education into your own child, someone else's child might be thinking completely different. And as soon as my daughter says, no, I don't want to, they can react that way. This world is mad, man. This world is mad. So I think it's very, very important
that each and every parent takes accountability and speaks to your child, whether it be a male or female, speak to your child about emotional intelligence, about relationship, about sex, about feelings, right? Because some of these kids have never been spoken to about their feelings. They just go and act. They don't know how to control their emotions. Rest in peace to this young girl, man.
When you have a teenage boy, when you're raised by a woman, you become feminine. You don't realize it, but you pick up feminine traits. So this is a clip of me speaking on Kilimanjaro podcast, and I was speaking about the importance of having masculinity and a father figure in a home. And one of the reasons I said this is because men struggle with masculinity, particularly in their teens. And when you have a men that are raised by women, they tend to react in emotion, and that which is a feminine trait. And when you have a man that's got testosterone and he's reacting in the feminine trait or his feminine energy, chances are he's going to react emotionally and do something out of character, which men will teach them to do. And I don't know who raised this guy. I don't know if he was a single mother or if he came from a two-parent home and was an abusive home. But what we do need to ask is, how was he raised? Who raised him? And there's very important questions to be asked. And, you know, we don't have to cap. We don't have to cap. I'm not going to say what I'm going to say. I'm going to wait for more information to come out. But guys, just watch this video. Watch this video. How could you not? If you're raised by a man, no matter how feminine he tries to make you, at some point, you will pick up masculine traits.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because he's your father. When you have teenage boys that have been over-feminized, yeah, and they're dealing with their emotions in that pivotal point of their life, and their brain doesn't, you know what I'm trying to say? I remember what it feels like to be a teenager.
Yeah.
And your lack of processing and future, because in order to process life, you need to live it. Man, they have to teach them how to control your emotions. So when you have a young man that is in his feminine energy, even though he's masculine and dealing with testosterone, what happens? He reacts emotionally, which is a feminine trait, and that can make you strike out and do something. You know, when people do the mad thing, you're like, bruv, well, how can this is used? It's because they don't have no brain processes, so they're gonna be doing a mad thing on the high road. So guys, we'll come to the end of the video. My name is China. I am the Mandem's voice. If you like this video, then please make sure you like the video, drop some comments, and of course you subscribe, turn on notification bells to be first in when we drop content, and join our membership. We've got 3 different tiers.